Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I've got really great news for you. The Normal Combiner 2.0 has finally been finished. And we are going to quickly run through all the functions and UI in a second. But first I would like to thank and give a big shout out to my new scripter who helped me make this into a reality, Jango. You can actually find him on YouTube and you can also reach him through Blender community Discord server, so if you seek him there, you definitely find him. He mostly works on open source tools and mods for Examina modding, but if you have any great idea in service of Blender, I'm sure he will listen to it. So in this case, feel free to reach him out. And again, I would like to give a huge thanks to him, again, to make this add-on possible. I will drop the link for him and the add-on link in the description below. The add-on itself is on Gumroad and still and ever will be a pay what you want. You can grab it for free or throw in a tip if you find it useful. It's totally up to you. Alright, now with that said, let's dive right into the new stuff. Start with the basic combiner option. You're probably already familiar with this concept if you use the previous versions, but for those who do not, it combines normals in a mathematically correct way, so you can be sure you get the best result. The goal here is simply just combine different normal maps into one. This example shows a snake texture and this flash texture. And in a few clicks, this will be the result. And as you can see, it perfectly combined the two normals as it should. Best use example would be to use this to combine a skin normal with a wrinkle normal map. Let's move on to the next one, which is a new feature. Now you can convert normal maps inside the add-on with one click, so you can easily switch between OpenGL and DirectX maps. Blender uses OpenGL, while, for example, Unreal Engine uses DirectX maps. Basically what it means that the green channel, aka the white channel, is flipped. If you're not sure which is which, check on this example. Moving on, now we have another feature which is called overlap masking. This feature allows you to combine just certain areas of your map. Pretty self-explanatory, but let me go through it. So in the example, we can see a brick normal and we want to make it a bit more worn out using this plaster normal, but only on certain areas. For that, we will need to create a mask. The add-on supports all 4 channels, so it doesn't matter on what channel your mask is. If we use the red mask, this would be the result. As you can see, it just resize the plaster on that specific area. You can actually use all 4 channels if you want to, but you would typically only have this data on one channel, since your texture might store additional data on different channels. But for demonstration purposes, I created a button here, so you can see it doesn't matter on which mask you have the data, the combine would work flawlessly. Now we have yet another new feature, which is a flat normal masking. As I wrote it here, it helps you recreate certain areas using and utilizing mask. Best use case would be on a more complicated mesh. You can check in this video if you are interested in that. What we want here is for example, we want this part of the normal, or this, it doesn't matter, to this specific area. For that, we need to create a mask again. And the next step is to flat out that area, which is exactly what this section does. Then using the previous method and this new mask, we can freely add the new normal without any hassle. As you can see, it perfectly fits, so we can seamlessly integrate this new map part to here. But that's really an easy case, so let's move on to the more complicated, more real scenario. For that, I will go to the other part of the room, to the complete example guide. This is the base normal of the statue that it comes with. So what we can see here, if I open the shader, that it has an invert going on with the nodes. For later steps, we must be sure that we are using an OpenGL map if we are planning to bake the normal in Blender. Since Blender uses OpenGL, as I mentioned, and we do not want to mix 2 different kind of normals. So the first step I do here is to flip the white channel with the add-on and save it. Next step would be to scoop your new details you want. As you can see, this mesh has a multi-resolution modifier and the normal has been baked in Blender. Next, we need to paint a mask, just as at the cubes, but obviously the shape has to match the new scoop data, in my case this tank top. Now in the next step with the add-on, I'm going to flatten out that mask area. Next step in the process is to combining the normal bakes. Therefore, we apply the new details to the flattened area, and only for that area. Next is an optional step to add additional details on top of that, like a tiled normal texture for the tank top. But as I wrote here, you have to look out for the UV map here, because if the seams are visible, obviously the tiling will be off, but that's really is a basic concept and I don't want to over-explain this, but I wrote it here just in case. And for final step, we can flip back the white channel again, so we will resize the exact same map, just at the beginning. Now that you get the basic concept, let's see the new UI in work. So just like last time, non-destructively we can create a normal bake scene. We also have a couple of additional minor new things here, which I'm going to show you in a second. For example, now you can select it from an actual project, so your texture not necessarily have to come from a folder on your hard drive now. Let's do a simple combining. The first one here is the base normal map, so let's hit that, and let's get this snake one. Don't bother with the color, it will change up. The second one is our extra normal map, so let's hit that and select the flash normal map. Now we can immediately see it's all good. We can still switch the dimensions, and just hit render normal map, and it's done. In the previous version, we only had option to manipulate the strength of the extra normal map, but now we can do the same with the base normal map as well. And now we can scale both base and extra maps. Now let's see that tank top in action. Start with a converter. I import the base map, and from the nipple, here we can see that it is a DirectX map, since it's bending inboards. To flip it, just check in this, and now it's an OpenGL. Change the resolution if needed, and hit render. And I will save it down. Let's see the next function, the flat normal. For base, now I will use that flipped normal, and I'm going to tick in flat converter. And as I said, all 4 channels are supported, but obviously on its own it's not going to do anything until we not import a mask texture. So I'm going to import the texture mask. The data for me is on the green channel, so I'm going to use that and hit render once again. Save it down. Now I have a flattened texture. Cancel this. Let's untick this, and I will import this new flattened normal. And for extra, I will add the sculpted normal and use the overlay masking. Import the same mask. And let me show you why this version is better. If I untick this, you can see it's affecting the whole mesh. Therefore, it strengthens up similar parts. So this way we make sure we only affect that exact part of the texture. I hit render one more time, save it yet again. And for final touch, I'm going to use this new bake normal and use this random tiled texture. Again, this is why we need the mask. We can adjust the scale of it. And we successfully finished with this. We just need to render it out, and that's it. When you finish with it, you can just simply delete the bake scene or recreate it at any time if you want to with one click. I already have quite a few plans for future upgrades and expand this add-on even more with totally new features and so on, so stay tuned. And as I said, it's free, you can grab it anytime, the link will be in the description. But anyway, that's it for today. I hope you guys will find these new features and the whole add-on itself useful as I am. Let me know your thoughts in the comment, and as always, if the video was helpful, please spare a like and or a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.